Hello class, this is Mr. Broussard, and I'm sending you this video for the 13th week of our beginning English course for the fall of 2020. I hope you're all doing well. And this video is just to let you know what we have as far as assignments that are left truthfully, over the next 3 weeks, because this class is over on December the 4th. December the 4th is the last day of this course. So you have this half of a week that's left. You have all of next week and then the week after that. And really, you only have two assignments left that you are dealing with. One of which is due this Friday. I want to make sure you are the dependent-independent clause pretest, and it requires the respondent's lockdown and browser webcam capabilities. It must be done by this Friday at 6 p.m. Needs to be completed no later than this Friday at 6 p.m. It is mandatory, and you must pass it, or at least not have that much of a deviation between the grade on this quiz and the grade you would normally have gotten. If it's a deviation in the positive, then there's no problem there. If there's an extreme deviation in the negative, or you do not do it, you fail the course. The deviation is because this is the one bit of work this semester where I can prove that you are who you are. And we do it through the Respondus system because obviously we don't have the ability to do practice stuff this semester, as that was all locked up in the first week, actually technically before this class even began. It was every single spot was locked up, so we do it through Respondus. It makes it more convenient for you because then you can do it from your own home or from wherever you have a computer that has the capability of doing these things, and again, with the ability to allow for a lockdown browser and that you have a webcam somewhere on the computer. So it makes it a little more convenient for you, the student, but it still must be done. And again, it needs to be completed no later than 6 p.m. this coming Friday. So you have, if I were to do the math, 48 hours lands us at 9:30 on Friday. And so, at another 8.5 hours, I guess, if my math is correct. Basically 55 hours, only a little more than that, actually, left to make sure you get this done. It's not going to take that long. And my advice as far as the quiz itself is, before you get in there to take the quiz, go over the chapter dealing with phrases and clauses, in particular there that deals with independent and dependent clauses, and look at the actual practices that are there and answer those. Those type of practices will then help you when it comes to the quiz that you will take. But you must take it. If you do not take this quiz, if it is not completed by 6 p.m. this Friday, you have failed the course regardless of what your grade is in this course. Because then that causes shenanigans, causes to think that shenanigans are afoot and that you weren't the one actually doing your work. And so it would show itself on the quiz that you're pulling these much better grades than you actually are made to be the one who does something, and you bomb out horribly. Then if you bomb out horribly, then we think there were shenanigans. If you don't do it, then we think you didn't do it because, and some of you might, well, I would take the 10% loss. I can't get an A, but I can still pass it. No. If you do not pass this quiz, or if you have a 0 because you didn't do it, or a 0 for any other reason, you fail the course. You fail the course. If you're a student who deviates somewhat, maybe you don't do as well, but it's not horrifically worse than the work in the rest of this class, then you're fine. If you do much better, that's also perfectly fine. But if your average in here is like an 80 and you pull a 20, then shenanigans. And that's enough to be as direct an academic integrity violation just by itself to warrant complete failure of the course. So now, that is not meant to make you nervous while taking the quiz, because the quiz itself is actually going to be really easy. It is meant to make sure, one, that you do the quiz, and that, two, you have enough knowledge of what you need to know within, dependent and independent clauses to do well. It's nothing you should freak about, but if you're a student who, let's say, has had somebody do their work for them all semester, and this system makes you do the quiz, and then you do so horrific on it, it completely contradicts all the other work, then yeah, I'm going to firmly believe that you had somebody do your work this whole semester and you fail. And that is a complete, direct academic integrity violation, immediately warranting failure of the course from upon high, from all the people who run this entire college, not even just this campus, but the entire college. Because this is the way we can prove that you are who you say you are. So get it done. Now, what I have done, because a couple of you have contacted me, there were issues with the passcodes. It was the same passcode to both get you into Canvas, into the quiz itself, but also get you into Respondus. Well, there were issues with one or the other, so I just dropped all the passcodes. It was November. I had that posted. I thought it had posted automatically. It didn't, so I had to post it as part of the what is given to you. And I've gone ahead and just removed that entirely. So you don't need a passcode to get in. You just get into Respondus, take the quiz, make sure it gets done. And again, you have until 6 p.m. It must be completed by 6 p.m., no later than 6 p.m. Actually, 5:59 p.m., you must have it completed. Because if at 6 p.m. it hits and you don't have it completed, you have failed the course. So get it done. Some of you have already jumped on it. Thank you very much for getting on that. But many of you haven't. And again, it doesn't matter how awesome you've done this semester. If you do not do this quiz, you failed the course. So get it done. And that's just one of the assignments that's left. The only other assignment that's left is your final exam. And your final exam is that narrative essay, as I've explained plenty over the prior videos. It is also one where if you were to fail for any reason with a 0, you failed the course. However, if you fail on the merits, but you got to it, you don't fail the course. Now there's the key to this. If you are failing going into the final, and you fail the final, you fail the course. You're done. You've lost. It's over. But if you're passing going in the final, and you fail the final, you don't fail the course, but you have an incomplete for the course, and you have until the end of next semester, which will be sometime in early May of 2021, to then produce a final exam that would warrant a passing grade. And remember, this is a beginning developmental course. Developmental courses, you must have at least a 70, although I allow for a roundup of a 68 or higher if you have not had an issue of an academic integrity violation. I give usually a 1.5 on work. If you've never had an issue with academic integrity violation, and you're close, but you're not get there. And that's for all grades. So if you finish with, like, say, an 88.7, you'll round up. If you have an active integrity violation, you'll round up to an A. And the same thing works to where if you have a 68.5, you'll round up to a C and you'll be passing. Same thing on the final. If you have I'll even say if it's a 68, flat 68, I'll round up. Anything lower than that, you've failed the final, and then it's included on. If you were failing the course going into that final and you fail the final, you fail the course. That F's there. But if you're passing going into the final and then you fail the final, you will have the ability to continue working on that final until you produce one that is passing. Now, having said that, your grade will not be changed until I get back in January, because once I'm out of here, I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with anything else. I have a vacation in life, believe it or not. But it will be dealt with when we get back. If you have, in fact, that would be the best advice, is to do it over your break, get it done, and then I look at it when I get back in January. And then if it passes, then you pass the course, and then you can then sign up for a Comp 1, which would be a 111 English 1114 that you can then take, and you're not behind any, basically. We have other options because we have classes that start physically on the 11th. We have late start onlines, and we have late start physical. So you have multiple options that you can have that would allow you to then pass a little later on and then jump into a Comp 1 1114 so that you're not behind. And just a reminder, you have to do not sign up for 1113. You won't be able to. The computer will kick you out. Because you're in a beginning course, you must go to 1114 first before you go to 1123. So Comp 1 with the extra special that you must do because you're on a different path than someone who jumped right into a Comp 1 1113. So be aware of that when it does come time to register for yourself. Now, hopefully this is all just speaking to the wind, because hopefully you all have done well throughout the course, and you'll do well in the final and do well in the quiz, and everything will be totally fine. But that's just in case. Just want to make sure you're aware of these things. So you have the final exam itself, and again, it is a 5-paragraph narrative essay done in MLA 8th edition style. You must have at least 4 regular paragraphs that each one of them has at least 5 strong sentences. So each of these 4 paragraphs, 4 different paragraphs, must have at least five strong sentences in those 4 paragraphs. So a total of 20 there. You can always have more if you want, though. Never have a paragraph that's longer than 3/4 of a page because you'll lose your reader at a certain point. It should never be shorter than 4 full lines of text, and at least 5. It should need to be at least 5 strong sentences. It should never be less or shorter than that, but it should never be longer than 3/4 of a page. So you need at least 4 of those paragraphs: a proper thesis paragraph, a proper concluding paragraph, and at least 2 bodies that are that strong. And then you must also have at least 5 strong lines of dialogue because it is a narrative. You will have characters and they will talk. They will talk to each other, have at least a back and forth that goes at least 5 different. If you want more, that's fine. If you want to have it even to where each goes back and forth 3 times with 6 lines of dialogue, that's perfectly fine too. You can always have more as long as you don't go so long that it goes on and on and you lose your reader. Because those 5 strong lines of dialogue will count as the 5th paragraph because you need at least 5 strong paragraphs. So you won't have 5 total paragraphs in the traditional structure. You'll have 4 traditionally structured paragraphs, and the 5 strong lines of dialogue and the way they are structured will then take the place of that 5th one. So that's what you need to have when it comes to this narrative. Though those strong lines of dialogue can be placed anywhere. If you want it right off the bat, you can. If you have it in the middle like you want, that's fine. If you want it near the end, that's fine. But you must not have a nice transition between the regular, proper text, I guess you would say, and the dialogue itself. I guess the best way to explain this is this. The thesis and concluding paragraphs are mandatory. You must have a thesis paragraph. You must have a concluding paragraph. It can be structured a little differently, considering it is a narrative, but then through the dialogue itself, you must then that dialogue must then include what is necessary to note a proper thesis statement, which of course you need to have a topic or idea and your thought and opinion on that topic or idea. It can be done through normal text. It can be done through the dialogue of a character. Either is fine. If you want to have it started off as a dialogue, you can. But then it must be what makes a thesis must be taken care of through the dialogue, and it must be done, by the way, through the last line of dialogue in that collection. Because it still has to be properly structured. As a proper thesis paragraph must have that proper thesis statement as the last sentence of that thesis paragraph, which is always your first paragraph. If you utilize dialogue to do that, then it must be the last line of dialogue that produces what you need to note to the reader what is the controlling idea of this essay, which deals with your, again, a topic or idea that you're discussing and your slant or opinion on that topic or idea. My advice is do traditional structure, at least for thesis and concluding paragraphs, as full-fledged paragraphs, having them be the way they're supposed to be. And then if you want the entire of the body to be dialogue, you can do so. In which case you would have at least 15 lines of dialogue, and that's perfectly fine if you want. If you want to be more traditionally structured to where you have at least 2 full-fledged body paragraphs, that's fine, so long as you have at least 5 strong lines of dialogue somewhere within the body structure of the essay. And to remind you of what I just said a little before, you must earn at least 70 or above in this essay. Again, I'll give you a little leeway if you have not had any academic integrity violations. If you earn, I'll even go down to a 68, give you even a little more leeway. Earn at least 68 on this final exam and have passed the course prior. You'll prior to the final, have a passing grade. Prior to that, you will pass the course. Now, if you're at 68 and you weren't passing and it costs you not to pass, well, unfortunately, you have failed the course because, you have to reach a certain level. You have to be passing the course going into the final really to pass it. In traditional classes, actually, you would have already failed if you, let's say after that quiz, that the respondents quiz you'll take, if you're failing at that point, you wouldn't even be allowed to take the final exam. But we are giving a little more leeway because of the situation with COVID and everything. So I'm allowing you to take that final even if you're failing going into it. Though I will notify you if even getting 100 on it isn't going to help you, because some of you don't even have those grades. I will let you know, hey, don't worry about it. Focus on your other classes and take this class again. You're going to take this class again next semester because you're not going to pass it. I don't want you wasting your time doing an essay when you're not going to pass the course. I'll let you know that first Monday we get back, so you're not wasting that week getting that done. And no, don't beg and plead for, hey, can I have another chance to do this or that? No, your time is passed on everything as far as all that. And yeah, don't think you're the first student to ask your instructor and begged and pleaded in the last 2 weeks of a course You're not that original, and also don't think that any of those students were ever allowed to do that. We can be nice to a point, but if you wait till the last couple of weeks of a course to try to, can I do that? And then, yeah, no, you deserve your F, to be brutally honest. You deserve that. You deserve to take the course all over again. Because at a certain point, it's on you. We can only be so nice for so long, even considering what's going on in the world right now. We have to hold some standard. But yes, you have that final exam. So let's say you're passing, you get a 68. Then you're going to be passing no matter what. Even if it brings it down a little, you'll be fine. But just make sure you're passing the course. If you're close, hopefully this quiz will push you over. It's an easy quiz. I don't want y'all freaking over the quiz that you have to do, but I want you to understand that it must be done, and it must be similar to or better than what you've produced in this course. Because again, it's more academic integrity thing than it is the actual grade itself. It's just to make sure that you are who you are, and that also leads to, I have had a student once before use the ID of the person that they were supposed to be, but was clearly and obviously not that person. You'll make me laugh when I catch you, and then I will have no problem just slapping 0, fail, goodbye. I will laugh. It actually was kind of hilarious. You don't get a dang thing like the person in the ID picture. It was really hilarious, actually, in any way, shape, or form. So just do what you're supposed to do. And truth be known, if you just, read what you're supposed to read when it comes to the chapter, just involving even the part of the chapter that involves this quiz, you should be fine. Because it's not that difficult. It is not a difficult quiz at all. So just do it. And then once that's all done, do your final, and hopefully everything will be well. And then you can go and take 1114 either in the spring or whenever you plan to. So just to let you know, there won't be a video next week because I will not be physically on campus at all next week because the campus is closed starting, actually this Friday at 5. And I'll be gone at 11 a.m. So you won't hear from me until then. Until Monday on November the 30th, no earlier than 9:30 in the morning will be the earliest in which I will catch things. So I'll probably spend that whole morning going through email. So it may take me a while to get to your particular thing, but I will get to it. But it won't be until November the 30th, early in the morning. So hope you're all well. Again, there won't be a video next week. We're done with videos until, your last video. You will have a video somewhere early in the week of November 30th, December the 1st, and that'll be the last video you get from me because the class ends on December the 4th. So make sure you do what needs to be done. And by the way, that final exam, that narrative essay is due at 8 a.m. or 7:59 a.m. on December the 4th. So make sure, basically before you go to bed on Thursday, December the 3rd, that it is turned in to Canvas and done. And then I will grade them that day, and that's the course. That's all. So hope you're all well. And I will send you another video in a little less than 2 weeks from today. And enjoy your break if you have one.